am I expecting for this race? I'd like coffee and cakes at the top, that would be quite nice, and possibly a beer at the end of it all.
From the moment Abel Tasman first spotted the shores of what is now New Zealand in 1642, he must have thought it was paradise. He did, of course, get off to a bad start, and after a bloody encounter with local Maori, that particular anchor point became known as Murderers Bay. It wasn't until the 1850s, with the discovery of gold near Collingwood, that it became Golden Bay. Set in the northwest corner of New Zealand's South Island and home to some stunning scenery, a memorial now commemorates that first sighting of land by Abel Tasman, and the national park named after him has become one of New Zealand's most popular national parks. Whilst the majority of people have heard of the Abel Tasman National Park, New Zealand's second largest park is well known. Kahurangi, meaning treasured possession, is over 452,000 hectares, has almost 600 k's of walking tracks and 50 huts. The main highlight of Kahurangi is the Heafy Track. It's the longest of the Dock Great Walks and is now accessible to mountain bikes during the winter months, a development which has benefited local business and raised the profile of biking in Golden Bay.
The Heafy has probably made the area more well known. Heafy was always well known when it used to be open. And with all these new cycleways, so cycling in general is getting more and more popular.
Well, it's definitely extended the season, isn't it, in terms of mountain biking. And it's sort of the shoulder season or the winter time when things aren't generally very busy. It's certainly made business more viable, but not just bikes, probably
no, it's
accommodation.
Not just bikes, it's accommodation and hospitality. Yeah.
The way I see Golden Bay mountain biking, it's a haven for epic rides and big rides. A little known spot that we're trying to put on the map. The Milk and Honey is going to help us do that.
Central to Golden Bay is the town of Takaka, a haven for artists, tourists and travellers, as well as a popular holiday destination for Kiwis. But behind the scenes and away from the crowds, the Golden Bay Mountain Bike Club use their limited resources to get the most out of their surroundings, building, maintaining and riding an ever-expanding network of tracks. One local who started as a mountain biker and now rides on the world circuit as an elite road rider is someone who always returns to the place he grew up.
I think I got my first bike when I was 8 years old and rode a lot till I left for uni at like 17. So Golden Bay is where it all started for me. Like until I was 13 years old, I'd just ride with my mates and with Dad and my uncles, and I assumed I was really fast. When I lived here, and even when I left and throughout my first few years at uni, all I did was mountain bike. I think I raced for the first time in St. Arnaud, the Rainbow Rage. I was 13. I kept on racing mountain bikes till must have been 19 or 20 years old when I got my first road bike.
Jack, in fact, went on to win the Rainbow Rage 8 years later at the age of 21, having cut his teeth on the top of the South Trails.
To be a rider from the Nelson region or the Tasman region, and especially as a mountain biker, I always saw the rainbow as a box that needed to be ticked. So it was really good to sign that off, and I haven't been back since.
It's no coincidence that the region at the top of the South Island tends to produce a good number of skillful bike riders.
We're really blessed here by being able to ride all year round. You know, there's really no down season here in Nelson and the top of the South just through the climate. So, you know, you can ride a mountain bike and a road bike all year round comfortably. It's, you know, there's no barriers there, so you know, there's not a lot of other places around the country that are like this. And I guess, you know, just the nature of the terrain here, it's a really good mix of mountainous, hilly terrain. You know, the flats out through the Tasman, beautiful mountain bike tracks. You know, you can ride anything that you choose to, technical, smooth, flat, you name it. So the variety of riding coupled with the climate is something that's really pulling cycling along here.
Over in Golden Bay, the Bike Club has made great progress in a relatively short space of time. Some innovative track building projects have ultimately seen the area grow as a bike destination.
The club's amazingly proactive. Been a number of different events. There's been mountain bike races up around Canaan. There's been some fundraisers for local guys for Reese Potter's winter warmer, which I think we raised $5,000. And then there's Milk and Honey and the Mystery Ride, which has been a fantastic event where you get 300 people out biking, most of them who haven't ridden a bike for years and years and years.
Author of biking publications, Jonathan Kennett, has had a long association with Golden Bay. Frequent research trips for his mountain bike guides led to the development of the Trails on Canaan Downs in consultation with Doc. He has no doubt helped raise the biking profile of the area in more ways than one.
So in 2007, my partner Bronnie Wall and myself decided to combine our concern about climate change and our love of cycling together to have a forest carbon sink that we could build mountain bike trails for somewhere in New Zealand. Martin Langley from the bike shop in Takaka is a good friend of ours, and he kept on faxing through real estate agent flyers for properties up the Rameka Valley. And it turned out that one property in particular, the property that's now called Project Rameka, was perfect because the Rameka track, which comes down through Abel Tasman National Park, ended up coming through Project Rameka property.
While Jonathan was developing his tracks, the Mountain Bike Club were busy combining some of the unique assets of the area to create an event that has all the hallmarks of becoming a Kiwi classic.
The Milk and Honey was a no-brainer from the start, really.
If this doesn't become an iconic event, I don't know what it will take.
There's up and there's down.
This is going to capture the country's imagination, this race.
Right from the word go, I thought it was a winner. It had to be a winner.
She's pretty big.
That's a great concept. I think it's quite unique.
The idea for the event itself stemmed from a conversation I had with John Etherington from the Bike Club, which basically started with the question, why not have a race with two bikes?
The interesting thing about the Milk and Honey race is that it's quite unique having a mix of road riding and really tough road riding and mountain biking, and reasonably tough technical mountain biking as well. You got two iconic rides, so different and yet so similar in that they go up and down the same hill.
I can't think of anywhere else that you got road access to the top of a hill that's got a 1,000-metre descent off it. It just doesn't happen.
For mountain bikers, one of the must-do tracks in New Zealand is the Rameka track.
Rameka track, it's on.
The Rameka track was an old stock route, which at one stage was also going to be a possibility the main road access into Takaka. That didn't happen, a good thing in a way, because it's left it alone as far as a hiking track from Canaan down to Takaka, and has become pretty well known, particularly since it became a top 100 on the AA things to do in New Zealand list.
There's a bit of everything, eh?
Certainly is.
And a lot of mud.
This old pack route into Golden Bay is still a legal road, and that's the reason you can ride the track even though it's part of the Abel Tasman National Park.
Meanwhile, the Mountain Bike Club decided that they would start having a look at a way of connecting the Rameka track at Abel Tasman National Park with Project Rameka. And they opened up also what was the old historic track, which they called the pack track. So then you had Rameka track through the national park, you had the pack track connecting up with Project Rameka,
You had great expectations, weaving its way down the hill through to Rameka Creek, and then the mountain bike club built the 2 clicks, which is 2 kilometres of technical single track running beside the gravel road out towards Takaka. Absolutely fantastic, and one of the longest and sweetest single track downhills in the country.
The tar-sealed side of the infamous Takaka Hill is a Category 1 climb of 790 metres. And the 10-kilometre climb on the steeper Takaka side will test the best.
Bit of a challenge to get over.
Takaka Hill is renowned as one of the toughest climbs in New Zealand. It's tougher on the Takaka side than it is on the Nelson side. So for the Milk and Honey race to start in Takaka and have a little bit of a warm-up before slamming into the wall of Takaka Hill is quite an audacious way to get stuck into the first half of the Milk and Honey race. It peaks out at 791 metres and there's no respite. Once you leave Upper Takaka, that's it, you're climbing the whole way, and you can see the road ahead of you zigzagging up this mammoth escarpment, putting the fear of God into anybody except for the most honed professional hill climbers.
The hill's origin dates back some 450 million years. It's often referred to as the Marble Mountain, as marble was quarried from the early 1900s and was used for the showcase pillars of Parliament House in Wellington. The hill's history is well documented by Cliff Turley in the book Rocks in Hard Places. It tells of the pioneers that forged the way over the hill, and the race is homage to these people. The crucial element that links the road and the Rameka rides together is the 11-kilometre dirt road section that passes through Canaan Downs. This is where the race gets its name by its association to the land of milk and honey. It's part of the race itself that should not be underestimated.
The Canaan Road climbs up to almost 900 metres height. So you climb up on the sealed road, killer climb, jump onto a mountain bike which feels a bit sluggish, and you're getting straight onto a gravel road which feels sluggish as well, and you're climbing up to almost 900 metres. So it's a real sting in the tail for the first half of the Milk and Honey race.
The magnitude of this event deserves a fitting trophy, and what's more fitting than a piece of the hill itself?
The trophy was one of those things that could only happen in a small community, and I heard a rumour that there was someone who wanted to create a trophy and a gift for our race, the Milk and Honey. Found out that this woman whose name's Claire Allen, whose partner was a clean cyclist, and she wanted to honour his memory. His name was John DeVries, and it just so happens that I met John many years ago when he was working at Mount Cook. He was a mountaineer there and was quite famous within the New Zealand mountaineering community. John was a super keen cyclist, used to go from Golden Bay every year up and do Taupo, rode the Takaka Hill, was his favourite ride anywhere. John died of cancer and she wanted to leave a memory to him, and she couldn't think of a better thing than a race that went up the Takaka Hill, his favourite hill climb. We thought the ideal thing to do would be that the trophy would be out of Takaka marble, and we found a local sculptor who lives at the bottom of the Takaka Hill, and Claire went round there, and together Jocelyn and Claire came up with an idea and created the trophy. It's a great legacy for John, and it's amazing to think that our little race in Golden Bay has that sort of connection, and we've got something special that has some history to it.
You can't win the Milk and Honey unless you are an excellent mountain biker and an excellent road biker, so it makes the number of people who can really excel at that particular race a relatively small and special breed.
What are you expecting from this, guys?
A muddy day out.
Yeah. Sore legs.
This will go, the transition will be broke down. Debs is staying up there as security till 7 p.m.
Yeah, it's a little prototype.
Morning, Bob. Nice day for it.
Lovely day for ducks, lad. Especially in England.
Those were not ducks, and we're not in England. That's the problem.
Oh, lucky 16. You need one of those helmets that's pointy at the back.
Totally. Yeah, then I'd look like that man off Terminator, wouldn't I? That's the look I'm going for, actually. Terminator.
Beautiful.
You've done this race before, haven't you?
Yes, I have. Yeah, once before last year.
Yeah. How was that?
Oh, it was great. Oh, I loved it.
And what are you expecting this time?
I expect to be a bit slower.
A little bit of, well, probably quite a lot of suffering. Yeah, it'd be good.
A bit of pain. I'm expecting the hill to win.
Oh, I'm expecting to get a pretty sore bum, actually.
Yeah, looking forward to that slip sliding away in there.
Hard on the climb, cool coming back down the mountain bike.
I've got 2 pizzas, 6 cans of Coke and espresso coffee waiting for me at the top of the hill.
It's father and son combo, is it?
That's right. Yeah. I've been roped in, haven't ridden the bike for 7 months. Probably fall off, break my arm or something. Got a wedding next week, so you know, good for the photos.
You did it last time, didn't you?
Yeah.
On a mountain bike?
Cyclocross.
Same again this year?
Oh, I got a 29er this year.
And what are you expecting?
To be wet. No, it should be good.
I'm going to ride up the hill on my track bike, which is a single gear fixie, and then hop on my Ibis and ride my single speed down the Rameka.
This is a trophy, so we'll be taking this for a year, and this will be an ongoing trophy. This is local Takaka Hill marble, and it's been made especially for the race by local artists. But obviously, if you park illegally on the highway, you're not that either. So please be sensible about that.
The race starts and finishes in Takaka in what is effectively a 70-kilometre loop. Competitors can ride the race as an individual, using 2 bikes, or as a team riding 1 leg each, or for the hardcore, 1 bike for the whole race. In the 2012 edition of the race, 16-year-old Henry Jane from Nelson took on the race from halfway down the valley. Not content to stay in the bunch, it was a bold move to force the pace on his own so early in the race. At the start of the hill, a group of 5, including Golden Bay local Brian Alder, started the climb with a 20-second gap. But it wasn't long before the hill took its toll. Brian Alder held on to 4th on the climb, while the leading group of Warwick Spence, Henry Jane and Andy Reid stretched their lead.
Go, ball!
Go, Georgie! Woohoo!
When I was running my bike through the river crossing, I slipped and hit my head on a rock. Felt a bit dizzy, but came right after a while. That was near the bottom of the downhill. But the whole track was wet, but real good fun.
Henry at 16, we'll just see where he goes. He's got a little bit of growing to do because his dad's a few feet taller than him. But I'd say in a couple of years we'll be seeing a bit more of him if he follows cycling as a bit of a path.
What do you do? I was trying to catch you, I never saw you.
How was it, Ed?
Immense. Genuinely immense. Relentless. And just awesome fun, yeah.
Hard?
And yeah, hard is one way of putting it, yeah.
Yeah, something a bit different. No epic downhills really, but lots of traversing there. And, yeah, I don't know. It's running a bit of an unusual combination with a decent knobbly on the front and a slick sort of touring tyre on the back. That was sort of my only bit at trying to get something that was a bit more competitive.
It was fun. Hard in the middle, eh?
It was a long way to the top of the hill, but we got there, and I'm just pleased that it's Kathy doing the downhill and not me.
I forgot how hard it was.
I'm a first timer, and I'd come back. Brilliant.
Oh, there's a sort of a fence on the side.
On the
yeah, about 500 metres before that, I just stooped a little bit, went over the handlebars.
Oh, the hardest bit on the fixie was coming off the top down because I couldn't not pedal.
Oh, yeah, a bit of a
pretty hard on the
over
legs.
the handlebars.
But love coming down clicks.
Yep.
It was, yeah, that was great.
Any fall-offs?
No, some close ones though, but nothing too bad. Yeah, just excitement.
Yeah, with that road, just left way too much on the road. Sweet though, what an awesome concept.
I did ride up to the top of the hill, and I have to say, it's quite steep.